So Dan Mullen, now Florida Gator football coach, joining us live. First of all, Coach, you've done a great job. Thank you so much. I covered the Gators years and years ago when I worked in Tampa. It's the loudest stadium I've ever been in. And thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, great to be with you. I appreciate it. I love that lead-in right there. That was very complimentary.
Let's start with Kyle Pitts. So one of the things you're known for, you're probably the most ripped-off coach in the SEC. People take all your schemes, and you move guys around, and you very much you make multiple sets. You make it very tough to defend. When did you first notice with Kyle Pitts? Take me to the moment, Coach, a practice or a game when you went, oh boy, I can put him anywhere on the field.
Well, I think he came in as a freshman, and we played him mostly at wide receiver, and had him flexed out. We had some depth at tight end. He was still growing and maturing in his strength, and we didn't have great depth at wide receiver. And all of a sudden, we put him out there as our ex-receiver, and he made some unbelievable plays, was learning how to be a route runner, learning how to use his body and his leverage, and thought, okay, this guy has a chance to be special. But all of a sudden, he came back the next year. He grew into his tight end body, and then that's when it became fun, because now you have this guy with that's 6'6", 240 pounds, that can play tight end. He can set the edge. They got to respect him as a tight end within the running game in just how they fit the runs, how they set the defense. But then you start moving around and you create the matchups, and he's just, he has elite wide receiver skills, but he sets the matchups that you get him on people that they don't want to have covering him.
Can he block it all, Coach? That's the knock on him. Can he block it all?
Absolutely. Now listen. You're not going to make a living. You're silly if you have him and you're going to say, "Hey, this guy's going to be a blocking tight end for us." But now they're going to have to try to create a matchup. Who are they going to put on him? So if all of a sudden they're going to say, "Okay, we got to have a bigger safety on him, or a bigger corner on him," and you put him into the core of the formation, well, that safety or corner now has to come fit in the core. He has to fit the run plays. Yeah, so he can cover up defensive ends. He's not going to make a living knocking them off the ball. He can cover up. He can set the edge. He can set the point on the run game. But now if you try to create a matchup, now you put a corner or a nickel on him, he's going to blow those guys off the ball. Then he becomes a dominant blocker within the matchup that you've created at the point of attack.
So I got to be honest, Kyle Trask, when I first watched him, I thought he was a bit of a plotter. He's talented, but not much of a mover. And I thought to myself, he feels a little bit like a statue. Then I watched his pro day. It looked like he lost weight. He was a little more cut up. And it did look like... It did. I was like, it looked like he changed his body a little. Here's my question. Does he have an NFL arm to you?
Absolutely. I think here's where you miss in his athleticism. He did. I looked at him at pro day. I'm like, boy, he was out in California working out. He must have got on one of those diets out there in California, right? I mean, he all slimmed up. But I think his athleticism, if you watch his small area athleticism, his ability to slide and move within the pocket, and when you're 6'5", 240 pounds, and your ability to slide and move in the pocket, he's athletic enough to create, to extend. He's not going to beat you as a dynamic scrambler or a huge extender of plays. He's going to extend plays in a short frame moving around the pocket, but he can see over everybody. He has great anticipation. He has great accuracy within his throws. So, like anything, and I heard you say this in a great compliment of coaches, but if you watch coaches, great coaches, they're going to put their guys in position to do what they do well. Okay. Tom Brady's never going to be mistaken for, this dynamic athletic runner. But he's played for two great head coaches that have always put him in a position to do what he does well. Peyton Manning, great success when you put him in a position to do what he does well. Now, on the flip side of it, you can go to a Lamar Jackson, but they put him, the coaches put him in a position to do what he does well. So if you take Kyle and say, hey, listen, we're going to have a guy that's going to be really smart, really prepared, extremely accurate with the ball. He's going to be able to slide, extend in short areas, sliding around the pocket, finding throwing windows. He's going to be really successful. And I think that is the key, and that's the key to the coach, to put him in the position to do that.
I remember watching Dak Prescott, and I said when he came out of college, I said he reminds me of Tebow, but with a better arm. He has an NFL arm, whereas Tim was and they both have a lot of intangibles I liked. I don't think either one throw the ball like, Aaron Rodgers. Are you a little surprised? I mean, because one of the things that jumps out to me with Dak is the intangibles. He had a moment years ago, Coach, and my audience made fun of me for this, but he had a moment years ago when he was on the sideline and he was just walking up the sideline, and he walked by a garbage can, and he threw a cup into it. He had had a sip, and it didn't go into the garbage can. He went back and picked it up and put it in the garbage can. And I said, that's a conscientious kid. And I said, that tells me something. And everybody in my audience says, you're an idiot. That doesn't mean anything. But there is something about Dak that when did you spot it? What was different about him?
You know, it was really funny. It actually goes back to high school. We had an elite camp, and he came to a camp early on. And, you know, we wanted to love him. And he didn't throw the ball well. He wasn't very big or exceptionally fast, you know. But everyone said, hey, boy, he is a winner, the high school coach. And everyone looks and says, he just makes everyone around him better. So it became one of these. We wanted to love him. We gave him some things to work on. He came back to the elite camp a couple of weeks later. And we do kind of this thing in the weight room, hyping these kids up with all these great recruits, all your top players. And our strength coach came running up to me and said, we need to offer that kid and make him our quarterback immediately. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, I've never seen the intangibles in a human being like he has. He just took over a workout of elite recruits, and he knows nobody, and every one of them are ready to follow him wherever he goes. And I said, boy, I hope he can throw the ball a little better than last time he was here, because he didn't throw very well. We walked out, and here was the great thing. You know what? He didn't throw it exceptionally well that day, but everything I asked him to improve on 6 weeks earlier, he had improved on. And I thought, and I said, you know what? If he can work, if he can take those steps in that short 6-week period, and he is the ultimate it guy, we can go work with that. And I saw that in that workout. So we got him. And you know what? He was a much better freshman year. He was okay. Much better passer his sophomore year. Came back much better, much better player his junior year. He came back his senior year. And even though if you go back to his college career, his junior year is when he had all the hype. We were the number one team in the country. He was a superior player his senior year to his junior year. And then all of a sudden I thought, thinking, you know what? He still is going to continue to improve as a passer. He is going to continue to improve his game. But if you ever want to build an organization around somebody, this is the guy to do it. This is the guy that can lead you. And I remember NFL teams said, boy, can he carry the team to a Super Bowl? I said, I don't know if he has the talent to put the whole team on his back and flat carry you to a Super Bowl, as Aaron Rodgers or someone that you mentioned. But I'm going to tell you what, he can lead a team to a Super Bowl. And I think that is the difference with him. And then you're going to see, if you watched every year in the NFL, he's a much better player the next year. That goes back to your personality, his character, and who he is. And that's what makes him so special. But I'm going to tell you what, I don't know. I'm a big Dak fan. You watch the Cowboys team when he was on the team playing and when he wasn't this past year. And it wasn't just the skill set or his talent. It was the personality of the team. And that's what makes him different, is his leadership of running and leading that whole organization and the performance of everybody around him.
Finally, Coach, Dan, how good is Dan Mullen here? This is great stuff. I love Urban. He's a friend. Everywhere he's gone, he's worked. You know him better than anybody. I think he's going to work in the NFL because I think he's a quick learner. I think he's just a guy that would succeed in investments, in college, in broadcasting. Urban's just one of those guys. What's something I don't know about him? Like when you work with him, what's the secret sauce that you saw that maybe you've borrowed as a coach?
Well, I think this. I think, one, he's learned to adapt to his situation. You know, and if you look at his coaching career, to be successful at Bowling Green, Utah, Florida, Ohio State, very, very different schools, very different organizations, different leagues, different style of player, different recruiting, different everything, and had great success at each of those. His ability to adapt to the players he has, his ability to motivate the players he has, and his ability to learn. And one thing I think that people maybe haven't talked about is look at the staff that he's put together. He didn't go call, hey, I want to go back and get my staff from Florida or Ohio State and bring them in here to the Jaguars. Okay. His offensive staff, in bringing in Bevel and Schottenheimer, guys with pro experience, defensive staff. So he has this fine mix of guys that, even though he hasn't been in the NFL a lot, he has some veteran NFL coaches on his staff. And I think his ability to just lead and run and organize and be a CEO of an organization, he does that as well as anybody, of motivating not just the players, but motivating the coaches, holding everybody accountable and getting everybody on the same page to become their best, is what he's done to be really successful in the coaching profession.
What a pleasure to have you. By the way, I looked at your schedule this morning. You get Bama and Georgia at home, so that's not bad. I mean, you got to reload a little bit on offense. You don't have Kyle Pitts or Trask, but I'd rather.
Well, hey, as you said, the Swamp's a lot. We get to play Georgia and Jacksonville, so that's kind of a 50-50.
Yeah.
But I will say this: if that Swamp you see in the picture behind me, if hopefully we get back to a little bit of normalcy, if we can pack that Swamp on when Alabama rolls in, it'll be one of the loudest stadiums in the country next season.
Yeah, I've said this before. The two loudest stadiums I've been in, the Swamp and Autzen Stadium in Oregon, before they rebuilt it and it was built into the ground. You can't hear yourself think. 5 feet from my producer in Florida, I couldn't hear him. 5 feet, me to hear, could not hear him. Dan, it's great meeting you. Thank you so much.
Great to be with you. Have a great day. Go Gators.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.